for championship matchup. We are set for 5 3-minute rounds in the amateur featherweight division. This is for the vacant SFSC European Amateur Featherweight title. Introducing first, your challenger in the blue corner with a flawless record of 4 wins. He fights and represents Red Kings Belgium from Brussels, Belgium, Umberto Young Lion Diaz. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he has an amateur record of 7 wins with 2 losses, 0 draws. Fighting and representing Revolution Martial Arts from East London, Kingsley Crawford. When this championship matchup begins, your referee in charge, Andy Nichols.
With Andrew Nichols in charge here, we have got an incredible international featherweight championship matchup here at FightStar 8. By way of Belgium from Red Kings, the undefeated Umberto Diaz will face off against East London's Kingsley Crawford in the red corner from Revolution Martial Arts. Diaz in the blue, Crawford in the red. And Crawford setting up a beautiful right round kick to the legs to kick tonight's proceedings off here. The response from Diaz, again double time with the right roundhouse kick to the thigh.
Yeah, Diaz certainly looks the more physically imposing frame at this weight, but what a start from Crawford already. Stiff left hand, some nice low kicks. Not here to waste any time.
Crawford, physically gifted, a very athletic individual, but Diaz looking to hunt here and box him in and close down, cut off space, and control the ring.
Yeah, a lot of swagger about Diaz as well. Looks very confident. Not overawed by Crawford's strong start, and there's another nice low kick that he's landed of his own.
I like how planted Diaz is to deliver power. Part of why he stands so flat-footed at times is to load up on strikes. Crawford with a nice probing jab and an excellent check from Crawford. No doubt Diaz felt that.
Yeah, Diaz with that left hand very, very low. Obviously his style, but he's getting picked off here.
Crawford with a stellar switch kick upstairs. Good coverage from Diaz, but even if you've got your right hand on the chin, that's not enough with 4-ounce gloves.
Crawford warming into this one, excuse me, Chris. He's really, I think he's getting under the skin of Diaz a bit here. Diaz is trying to get involved in the showmanship, and I think he's becoming a little too eager. He's just chasing his man down a little too much.
And a lot of Diaz entrances are often straight in, which has made him predictable as Crawford continues to measure him up. Diaz showing the uppercut. Crawford leaning in a little bit there to try and draw his man. Probing jab again to the right round kick from Diaz. Excuse me, Crawford. Another check from Crawford, just a short little check there. You notice the way he only raises his leg just maybe a couple of inches. All that's needed. Economy in motion. But this is what Diaz wants. He wants to cut the ring, work the geometry.
Nice right hand from Diaz. Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. I think Diaz wants to get on the inside and make this a bit more of a slugfest. Crawford, I think, has the better timing thus far. He's warmed into it quicker. He's controlling the center of that cage, and he's got some lovely counters as well. That little chopping left hook that he's using when Diaz is just overreaching there. Great work from Crawford.
I would have said Crawford had the advantage in accuracy, but Diaz has landed a couple of nice strikes here in the last 20 seconds. Again, a solid left hook lands for Diaz. Crawford felt that too. Crawford with the check hook. And both fighters have absolutely put on a display. Intimidation factor to the nth degree there from Crawford as he points at Diaz and then points to his chin and says, "Not so fast." How do you like that, Mr. David Leatherby?
Yeah, credit to Kingsley Crawford, to be honest with you. I think what he's done is he's looked at the style of Umberto Diaz and the way he's ramped forward and the way he's tried to get involved in the mind games. He's like, okay, You want to play those games? I'm happy with that. It suits Crawford's style of counter-punching. He wants Diaz to overcommit. So, you know, the Conor McGregor effect. If he can get in his head and cause his opponent to overcommit, beautiful high kick you see there. And as you see, again, nodding his man on, calling him in, because his counters are on point. He wants Diaz to rush in, overcommit, and then he can land that little left hook that he's looking for here.
But you cannot forget that Diaz is a power striker. And sometimes you can only go to the well, oh so many points, because you go and then all of a sudden you find you've run out. So I like the fact that Crawford has been aware of distance management. But no doubt Diaz, we know what his game plan is as well. How it will go, no one knows. Round 2 here tonight, live from London for the FightStar 8 Championship here at Featherweight. The vacant belt, Diaz versus Crawford. Who will be the champ?
Yeah, Diaz throwing everything to kill, as you said. Every single shot is a power shot here. And, you know, it might only take one to completely change the outlook of this fight, as you mentioned. From Crawford's point of view, certainly the more fluid striker. But, you know, just one shot can change the face of the game. We see it so many times in MMA. Crawford going for the takedown. Interesting.
I was surprised we didn't see that earlier from Kingsley. He's very, very technical on the mat. But look at those power body shots there from Diaz there. Tight underhook there on the left, and the right working the breadbasket there in classic fashion. Crawford would do wise to try and bicep pummel and get out, and he does so successfully. But Diaz, maybe a little bit of a strength advantage. It's when you get to feel an opponent's strength in these positions that you start to understand just what you can and cannot do. Diaz again rinses him to the body. Crawford not showing anything though.
No, it's nice work to the body from Diaz in the clinch. You know, it's probably underused in MMA. Of course, people are worried about the reversals and the takedowns. But he was ripping to the body nicely there. As we say that, Crawford lands his own 1-2 to the body and looks for a left hook. Oh, and a nice low kick into the body as well, trying to get that payback. What a connection there from Kingsley Crawford. It was that same switch kick, the way he switched up and went. Now to the midsection. Outstanding hammer fist. He's having fun out there. But like I said, sometimes you can only go to the well so many times before you get stung. That last low kick really hurt Diaz. You know, there's no smiling that one off and shaking your head. That's the thing that surprised me though. Both men have tagged each other and not a wince, not a grimace. No sign of any of the reverberations of some of those strikes. And again, another clean left hand. And the left kick counter to the body. I love how Crawford pivots away now. He's doing much better of staying off the wire when compared to the first round here. As you said, Chris, Diaz has got such a chin. He just wears everything. Crawford catches him absolutely flush. It just doesn't change anything. Doesn't take one step back. Just not even a blink almost. And again, the pace slowed a little bit. Not surprising given the heavy artillery being thrown for the opening 6-7 minutes now. See, Crawford's threatening that low kick and it's bothering Diaz now. He's doing that little shuffle and it's making Diaz do something that he hasn't done throughout the fight, and that's think twice about bombing forward. Crawford's hurt him with that low kick in that round, and it's just playing on his mind, I think. That's a great point there, Dave. You can see that stutter step and almost a tell. It's almost like he's trying to give him a little bit of a taste of something just to gauge his reaction. And no doubt, the guy from Belgium there, a little bit worried about that. So, as both resituate to their corners, now 6 minutes into this contest, we've got a potential 15 minutes here tonight. 5 rounds here for the European Featherweight Championship at 145 pounds. What are the lessons so far about what Crawford can do, and what are the lessons about Diaz? Yeah, for me personally, I think Crawford's getting the better of those exchanges, especially towards the end of the second round. His counter-punching seemed on point. For me, I think Diaz is going to have to change up the game plan, whether that's go in and try and get a takedown, clinch against the cage maybe. We saw in their clinch that Diaz did kind of look like the stronger guy for a moment, But I think while he's playing this outside game with Kingsley Crawford on his bike on the outside, he's going to be losing the fight.
And the thing to pay attention to, now in the third round here, FightStar 8, live from London, Chris Hoekstra alongside David Leatherby, would be the distance of how far out they are. 2 steps out right now. How long it stays there? Possibly a downhill road for Diaz as Crawford continues to work the leg kicks.
Yeah, I think his corner mentioned to him, keep on that lead leg. You've got him hurt. Keep hammering it into that lead leg. That little just chopping left hook. Oh, he stops him in his track with a jab there as well. Great lead hand work from Crawford. You know, a lot of MMA fighters get criticized for the lack of jab. It's a classic criticism in the boxing and MMA. But Crawford really on the money with his lead hand tonight.
And look at this though, a slip from Crawford as Diaz thought about passing, but now opts to try and kick the thigh. You mentioned the check hook of Crawford though, that's been one of his best strikes against Diaz.
I'm surprised Crawford hasn't carried on shrimping back to the cage. He started to, and now he's kind of stopped. He'd be well versed just getting his back to the cage, I think, and we're walking up.
Again, low kicks there from Diaz. Crawford laying down, nods, says, all right, let's do it.
Good refereeing from Andy Nichols, I think. You know, you can get drawn into those exchanges too long.
And that was what we wanted to see possibly from Crawford, was shuffle back to the mesh and then use that to get back to his feet. Diaz must consider the takeaway there from the exchange a moment ago. He can't afford to stand here, otherwise Nichols will call for Crawford to come up just like that. We return to the upright here. Third round here tonight at FightStar 8. And what may be the most competitive couple of rounds, at least in the upright, that we've seen all night, and that's saying something.
Yeah, certainly back and forth action. Both fighters have had their moments. You know, it looks as though Crawford's coming out on top at the moment, but Diaz has got that power to change it.
Great timing there from Diaz to wait for Crawford to kick and then come over the top with that right hand. Again, you can see Diaz lining up that either left to the body or the right overhand. There again, looking for that down punch. So much power on that strike, so much inertia when you pump down. Crawford there with a lazy shot. Stopped by Diaz. Diaz maybe walking away with this now.
Yeah, definitely Diaz's best round thus far. He's pouring on the pressure here, and those counter shots just aren't coming back from Crawford in this round. That left to the body again.
And again, I like how Diaz went upstairs after going downstairs. Just a few seconds to go here before we hit the championship rounds tonight here at FightStar 8. A shrug from Diaz as Crawford kicks him to the body. A much more confident Diaz in this round.
Yeah, he needed that round, and you know, he's definitely picked up that one on my scorecard, and he's stemmed the tide. He's given Crawford something to think about. You know, Crawford never really recovered from those 2 slips, although he didn't concede any shots really on the ground. When he got back to his feet, it's like his game just left him. He had 0 lateral movement. He was getting chased down. He wasn't showing that check left hook that he's been doing. So great round for Diaz, and you know, this one's back in the. Wow, I don't think Crawford knows that it's 5 rounds. He just put his shirt on, Chris.
Wow. Here you go, folks. You got your ticket money right there. We're going to see Crawford get ready to go a 4th round here tonight.
What's that going to do for his mindset? You know, he thought the fight was over. From his point of view, he's probably took the fight 2 rounds to 1. So now he's back in there, and you know, his opponent's on the front foot.
More than that, his opponent is dancing the jingo jango there. A little bit of salsa move shown by Diaz. Crawford, though, looks a little bit weary, David. 4th round here on tap for the championship tonight, the European Featherweight Championship. Brought to you by FightStar Championship. Rolling live here from Brentford in West London. Diaz and Crawford will do battle for another round if necessary for the silverware.
Listen, I've spoke to fighters before that have gone looking for the finish in an MMA bout, and they've been very close to getting that finish, and then they haven't quite got it. And they've spoke about the adrenaline dump, not only from trying to finish the fight, but the actual emotional energy dump of thinking, I've finished this fight, it's over. For Crawford, he had his shirt on in between rounds. You know, that's done. He's going home. He's having Ben and Jerry's, whatever. Now he's back in there in the championship rounds. It's a tough ask for him.
And more importantly, as you alluded to, it may have been part of the game plan to ensure winning 2 of the 3, which I would wager he probably did.
Yeah.
Showing the Brazilian there, though, is Diaz. Love it. The question mark kick with the right leg. This is a very determined Diaz, and possibly a wilting Crawford here. Yeah, what a turnaround this would be, Dave.
Yeah, listen, Diaz comes out with this round. We're looking at 2 apiece going into the final round. I mean, that's how much this fight has changed. The whole complexion of it just changed for that single round from Diaz. And Crawford's got to wake up here.
Crawford circling on the outside, and this is what we saw Diaz try to do in the first, which is control. Almost if you could draw a ring around the outer 2/3 of the cage here, you would see that is where Diaz has predominantly positioned his footwork to circle and close in Crawford. Look at this.
Wow. I'm really enjoying this, I gotta say. You know, call it gamesmanship, call it what you like. They've both been at it, and it's, you know, it's fair play if it's coming from both sides, in my opinion.
Psychological warfare from Diaz, and then the low kick. I like it. Make him think about the boxing, and then light up the legs, which was a little bit of what Crawford did for the first 2 rounds very well, I might say.
Yeah, and you notice now, Chris, Crawford's not smiling and laughing back, is he?
Diaz with the left hand and working the body nicely, but again, the check hook from Crawford. Diaz must respect the hands of Crawford. Fortune may have turned in his favor, but you still got to dot the I's and cross the T's, David.
Yeah, nice right left hand from Crawford, and now he's woken up a bit, Chris. Now he looks up for it. He's changed gears here.
And what a scrap we have at 145 here. Incredible. And you just get to witness these moments where an athlete will dig deep. You mentioned the psychological and emotional aspects of this. Sometimes it's all about gutting it out, and that's what you're seeing here. Incredible. Both men, the gas running on empty, and you saw a good little flurry there from Crawford at the end of the round, but was that enough to steal it, David?
Well, this is the thing, that there was only one guy really pushing forward for most of that round, and that was Umberto Diaz. You know, the eyes of the judges, is that enough to give him the edge? We mention all the time, it's impossible to score a fight from commentary position. That was a close round. You could be looking at 2 rounds apiece going into the final round, which seems almost unfathomable. When we ended the second and it was like Crawford was running away with things, he was having his way. You know, the counter left hands were there, smooth as silk. Diaz has done what he wanted to do, and that's take it into the trenches. He's got Crawford worried, and this is a massive, massive round for the belt coming up now.
Spectacular, and here's some of that late flurry there from Crawford. Left to the head, left to the body, left back upstairs again. A nod from Crawford, a nod in the middle of the chaos. That just gives you a little bit of a tiny window into what we were talking about earlier. Spectacular. Diaz going 360 there with a wheel kick. The soles of his feet skimming the nose of Crawford. Well, it may be 2-2, which would set up the very best in championship fighting. 5 rounds here on tap tonight, and we go to the 5th here in London. 3 more minutes on the clock. The final championship round between Crawford and Diaz for the Featherweight European FightStar Championship belt.
Big shot from Crawford there, and you heard his corner during the last round saying pressure, pressure, pressure. He's come out in this round and he's taken the center of the cage. Diaz had it for the last 2 rounds. That could be the difference here.
And Crawford plods onwards. Got to be careful not to be too heavy on that lead leg, though. We've seen Diaz kick it repeatedly, but it could be Crawford looking to use the kicks as well. It's tough to say. Right now, a little bit of a glorified boxing bout.
Yeah, and Crawford, interestingly, pacing his man down and looking for the left hook to the body. Exactly how Diaz possibly took those 2 rounds himself.
Also interesting to see Diaz stand southpaw there. So we had an open stance matchup for a moment. Now Diaz reverts to orthodox. Diaz probes onwards. That short left hand. That left hand doesn't quite extend out as much as I'd like it to be. But nonetheless, a look of determination from Diaz. A look of concentration from Crawford. And there's the kick from Crawford. Just look at the left leg of Diaz. I mean, David, that is as red as a tenderized steak. Yeah, absolutely torn up. He's done well, really. It hurt him in the second round. He's done well to just carry on regardless. You haven't seen his stance change. You're still bouncing around, got good movement. Very, very tough individual. I wonder if Crawford might look for a takedown late here, try and, you know, just mix it up and maybe cement this last round. Although left hook to the body has been money for him this round. And Diaz possibly backing off for the first time in a long time, but just when you think, he shifts back into gear. It's incredible that, you know, the level of fight you're seeing in the amateur ranks now. You know, this would grace any pro card up and down the country, wouldn't it? It's just fantastic chess match between these two guys. The ebbs and flows, the M in MMA, the mixed in martial arts, so evident here. So technical, so well trained, both of these men. Again, and just a testament to the level of what the entire FightStar team has put into this production. I think this could very well be one of the, at least from the top to the bottom, one of the very best UK cards of the year. And the fans really getting a Christmas treat here tonight in December in London. Yeah, they certainly are. Every fight has been very well matched. Been a lot of skill on show. No least in this title fight here. Wow! Diaz pouring it on with the spinning kick. And going in with the flying scissor technique. This is key. Both men have got to win this last few seconds. Clock is running. Time is not on their side. And that is it. We go the distance here. Both men raise their arms. Diaz and Crawford believe they've done enough. David, of all the rounds, that may have been the closest. Yeah, listen, it's a cliche in the fight game, but that fight really could go either way. Credit to both fighters, very well matched. As you mentioned, the ebbs and flows, Chris, it was up and down. Fantastic bout. Either guy that picks up the belt is going to be a very, very worthy champion after that war. And frankly, there really can be no loser here. I mean, both guys came in and put convincing moments in every single round. It's a type of fight you'd love to see another couple of rounds of. Maybe we'll see these guys meet further down the road, but one of them will walk away here tonight on the end of a decision with the belt around their waist. The international matchup, the United Kingdom versus Belgium. Crawford representing East London, of course, the Belgian international. Diaz here, also a convincing showing. We will get all of the numbers and folks here tonight and go to our master of ceremonies, the man on the mic, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Buddy Love Johnson, for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds of championship matchup, we go to our judges' scorecards. All 3 judges score the bout 48-47 to your winner by unanimous decision and new FSC European Amateur Featherweight Champion, Umberto Young Lion Diaz.
If you're talking the hardest, gigs better pop up in your thoughts as an artist.